What's up, everybody? This is the Anime Squad Podcast, Episode 8. My name is Raby.
This is David.
And unfortunately, Omar couldn't make it today due to some complicated reasons, but he'll be back next week. So it's just going to be us two reviewing this week of our spring anime seasons. And like I mentioned before last week, we're going to be catching up with, of course, our first anime of the list, My Next Life as a Villainess. Going to be giving you guys 2 episodes instead of the 3 episodes from last week that we did, so that way we can catch up. So first off that we watched from this week in general was episode 4, and man, this episode was great. So from last week we saw that, like, okay, all the characters were kids and then they grew up. So now the question is that what are they doing now? And from that, we see Katarina basically going to prestigious magic school for the first time, and with that, everybody else is going as well. First day of school, everything's fantastic. But as things kind of move on to this school setting, Katarina kind of remembers all these different past events that happen in the game.
Trying to review what has passed.
Basically, yeah. Within those 7 years, she's trying to recollect. She's basically reviewing everything that's been happening throughout the 7 years, like differences, what the original game had content-wise, and what all the characters' personality has grown into. Because the 7 years of development from this current timeline, completely different from the original game. So Jordo, for instance, he was originally distant and cold towards Katarina throughout the years, because Katarina was not very nice to say the least originally. But she's a lot kinder. And then Keith, also, of course, was originally meant to be a playboy because he was very distant. Again, bullied because of Katarina. But now he's kind of has a little bit of a sister complex, and he's very different. He's still very attractive to the ladies, but he doesn't notice it as much as his original game counterpart. Alan is pretty much the same, except for the fact that he doesn't have his the brother inferiority complex that he used to. So all that's squared away, and he's also really good at music in this new timeline. And Nicole is also pretty much the same, but he's very much like, okay, my sister has friends, because originally Sophia didn't have friends. And yeah, that's basically kind of where we leave off at. Katarina is as they're through the doldrums of getting acclimated to the new school, she realizes, like, and before that they also get introduced to the new student council president. His name, David, do you remember his name?
No.
All right, well, we'll put it up on the screen, so that way we'll just call him the student council president from here on. But yeah, the student council president gives a speech in regards to all the new people coming into the school, and with that comes her first conflict. Katarina overhears, or I guess Jordo is mentioning that he bumped into somebody. Oh my gosh, who's that somebody be? Katarina immediately puts that together. Oh wait, no, that's Maria. The key difference, though, that I noticed between what Katarina was noticing and versus kind of what actually happened is that in the game, Jordo is very much like, women climbing trees. That's kind of something you don't see every day. Because the MC of the game is a commoner. She's from a village, so she's very experienced in climbing trees and such, trying to get a good view as kind of where to go. That was the main reason why she climbed the tree. But anyway, but in this timeline, though, Jordo was like, I'm used to it because Katarina does it all the time, and Katarina in general was just I kind of noticed that detail because Katarina was just I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? It makes sense as to why she's so precautious and why she's trying to take things slow and steady. But it's kind of hilarious though, because she took all these like steps pretty much 7 years in advance. This is all like a plan 7 years in the making, and all of a sudden, anyway, cut to the next day. Keith is also mentioning, it's like, oh yeah, I saw this girl, and you know, she dropped her handkerchief and stuff, and she's also just like freaking out. She's like, hey Keith, if you fall in love with this girl, I got your back. Because she's just all thinking about like all the doom concepts and stuff, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's hilarious, just like trying to recollect what's going on. But then of course, as she's kind of like really worried and she's like going through the school, then all of a sudden, oh man, Maria just pops out of nowhere, nonchalant. And that's what, like, where, to me, that's kind of like where the comedy and stuff really hits it home, because she's just like, she knows everything about this, in a meta kind of way. She knows everything kind of like what's to happen and who these people are before they even reveal it at all. So it's hilarious. And then she's like, okay, Maria Campbell, that's my go-to, that's my number one kind of person to go to. So in the context of kind of like everyone else in the school and stuff, and her classmates, she's acting really weird when it comes to this girl that apparently she never met. So it's kind of hilarious. Mary and Sophia, you know, they're just like, hey, you know, we're trying to look for you and stuff like that. You know, we're just kind of worried about you because, you know, you're kind of acting kind of weird. Thankfully though, they all got each other's back though, because again, within the 7 years, they kind of became, you know, they became BFFs. So Sophia, Mary, all of them, you know, they're what was the word? Tight knit. That's what they are. So it's really adorable, because they have a kind of like a sisterhood going on and stuff. But anyway, so cut forward to, you know, the whole Katerina, because of the fact that all these different like encounters are happening like one after another. She's trying to basically get more serious into gardening. With the power of gardening, she says like, okay, if I ever get exiled, so she's basically trying to go back into that kind of plan B kind of scenario where she's gonna take gardening at school. So she starts her own little field and everything like that. And right after that, we get a scene where Alan meets up with Katerina and talks about like, oh man, Alan, Jordo takes the first place spot, and Alan takes third place. So because of the fact that Jordo and Alan no longer have that, like, you know, brother complex thing, you know, it's just like, yeah, you know, whatever, you know, it's all good. And Maria is second, so, you know, that's a huge deal. Again, at this point, nobody else really, you know, has kind of a you know, interaction with Maria, so they just kind of know about her from a third-hand kind of perspective. So she meets up with the student council president. You know, they have tea and stuff together, and I think like one of the things that we had like a little bit of a conflict with was whether or not Katerina was actually part of the student council. I think she is though, right?
I think
when they got rid, when they discussed it. But regardless though, yeah, that was when, you know, Maria brings up cookies, and she immediately is like, okay, you're the one that baked the cookies. And she's like, I didn't bake the cookies at all. Maria said, I didn't bake the cookies at all. And then Katerina brought up the fact that, hey, you know, I heard from the kitchen chef that you have a knack for baking. And Maria's like, oh yeah, you're right, because I did actually talk with the kitchen chef, and I talked with them about it, and they let me bake. And that's how she was able to find out the secret that Maria is good at baking. And then after that, she was like, oh man, I should let her know to make me some more cookies. Immediately after that, she finds out that she's getting bullied.
She smells the baked.
Oh yeah. She smells the baked goods, the muffins and stuff. Cause she was like really like, she was like, oh man, I really want these muffins. But as soon as she smelt that, and she came in, and that's when she discovered that Maria was actually getting bullied. So it's up to Katerina to save the day, cause you know these bullies suck. And then she just runs over, she gives him the glance, which kind of helps with the fact that she's actually the villainess of the game, and she uses that to her advantage and she was like, "Oh man, let me help you put these muffins away," and she eats all of them. It doesn't matter whether or not it's like it's in the ground or anything. It don't matter. 5-second rule. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, it's more than 5 seconds. Oh, whatever, 5 seconds is relative anyway. But yeah, no, that left a huge impact with Maria, and so what I said before on the last episode was that I was kind of predicting that Katarina won't befriend Maria that easily, and I was completely wrong. Like Katarina, this is basically Katarina's harem right here. She has a harem of studly guys and a harem of cute girls too, so it's all great. And then she does little dance and stuff. She's like, yeah, I did it. And then she reflects back on that whole muffin scene that was actually supposed to be a Jordo scene, and how Jordo was meant to be the one to save save Maria from getting bullied, and it was Katarina that was actually doing the bullying. So in a way, Katarina kind of swapped places with these generic bullies, and Jordo is just taken off the picture entirely. So she's basically becoming like the main love interest for Maria in a sense, or maybe the other way around, I guess, since the MC of this is Katarina, the Villainess, like the anime name states. And yeah, and with that ends episode 4 of that one. But of course, we're not just gonna end it off here in this episode of the Anime Squad podcast. We're going to episode 5, baby. And episode 5, in my opinion, though episode 4 was a good starter to introduce Maria, episode 5 is actually my favorite of the two of this week that we saw. This one starts off pretty normally enough. Like, it's the whole premise is basically takes place within with Maria and kind of Maria's background. The title is also, if the title's not a dead giveaway, I don't know what is. It literally just says, hey, let's go to Maria's house. Let's go visit Maria's parents. So you can kind of get the gist of the whole thing. Like, Katarina is at the student council room, and they're talking about baked goods and stuff like that. And in general, she shares the sweets and stuff, right? Like, everybody gets to try the cookies, I think.
No,
or was she just imagining it?
No, she's imagining.
Oh,
them too.
Okay. I was kind of confused when I first saw that.
If everyone would be together.
Yeah, I was kind of like the ideal, which I'm pretty sure this rate we're probably gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But in general, though, then she also reflects on the student council president that I mentioned before, and how he wasn't all that. So apparently in the original game he wasn't all that fleshed out of a character, but as he's actually talking with him, he's actually really, really good at what he does, and he could basically stand out as okay, so I told this to David, but he could basically stand out as DLC character, because he has his own strengths and stuff, and he could definitely qualify as being a romance option. So I was like, okay, if there's ever an update to this game, Fortune Lover Plus, then he's a good candidate for that. But yeah, no, in general, Katarina is really accustomed to it. And I love. Okay, so I didn't mention this last episode, but the council's back, and at first I thought it was the same exact little Katarinas that were around, but no, they're all grown up, but they're still chibi size, I guess. And they're all like, oh yeah, we can't blame her, she's a commoner, and we're the high class, the noble, so she can't just approach us casually and stuff. But then she says oh, but if we raise the affection, then we're gonna get then that's when we can be able to open ourselves more to her and stuff. She wants to get more close, basically, and so she goes up to Keith. She's like, hey Keith, so this girl gets bullied a lot, so what's a good thing that we can do to kind of help her out in this situation? And then Keith brings up, you could probably just stick around with her, just kind of see what's going on. And she was like, okay, I got it. So she runs, and Keith's like, this is my Katarina. And she realizes, oh shoot, another bully scene. It's a different group of bullies too, which is messed up. Nobody likes her, and that's when they find out they're okay, you joining the student council president, so I was just gonna give you pity. It's like, you're so smart and attractive, but like, oh, you have light magic too. What's so special about you? I'm gonna burn your pretty little basket off. I was thinking like they're probably gonna burn her face, but regardless, Katarina uses that little earth bump magic to... I like how it's called the earth bump, because like in the couple episodes ago, she's like, earth bump. But then she like uses the opportunity to trip one of the mean girls, and then she's like, she does the same thing as last episode where she's like, she does a mean face and she protects our girl Maria, and she's like, yo, you got, Maria's the best, you know, she works hard and everybody, you know, she deserves friends, you know, like you guys are just mean. I'm not hanging out with her because of her light magic or her influence or anything, like, you know, in the grades department or anything like that. She's nice. And then she also pulls out that face again, or she just, you know, she gets that piercing glare. And in general, like Maria is just, she's just crying her eyes out, man. she's so touched by everything. And then she mentions that, like, you know, my name. It's like, you call me Maria-chan. It's like, oh my god, I called you Maria-chan. I'm so sorry. You know, things like, you know, I think I was like, you know, treating you as like my best friends. Like, no, that's okay. You don't have to call me Maria-chan. You can call me Maria, because again, in Japan, Chan, San, you know, they all have hierarchies. It's like how close in relation you are with someone. So the fact that she was like, hey, just call me Maria, that's a huge deal. It's like the closest you can get, you know. It's like blood relatives right there. And then she's like, hey, you know, can I just call you Katarina-sama too? And she's like, yeah, you know, you can call me whatever you want. You and I, we're close friends. I mean, like, that right there is like pretty much guaranteed indication that, like, okay, things are going super differently, because according to the game, that same trial, that same kind of event that was supposed to happen, again, Katarina was responsible for that, because again, with her being a villainess and everything like that, she did that. But in this scenario, instead of like Jordo or whoever, it was Keith that actually was supposed to come in. So that's why it was kind of, to me, it was kind of obvious that like this was a Keith scenario, because originally she was the one that asked Keith, like, hey, what would you do? I was like, oh yeah, I'd follow her and just, you know, make sure she's okay, you know, especially with the bullying and stuff going on. So instead of the little bump, she made the little doll and stuff, protected her. And as that whole council thing's going, she's like, oh my god, it's amazing. It was kind of cute. And then so she makes sure to, like, you know, keeping tabs on Maria. She's like, they have a little girl to girl chat with Maria and the other girls, and they're like, hey, who do you like? And she's like, I like Katarina-sama. And then Mary and Sophia were like all raising their hands. She was like, oh, I love Katarina too. That's when I was like, yeah, no, this is straight up harem. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, you know, you're gonna be part of the Katarina harem. But again, Katarina's still taking that extra steps of caution. So it's not just enough that everybody else is like super affectionate towards her. She's like, okay, you know what? Get into my going into her like her alternate costume. She puts on some glasses and stuff, and they trot on off into the countryside to, you know, go into some real farms and farming. Keith is also around too, because Keith is you know, he's meant to kind of like protect her and stuff like that. So he also has his own alternate gear too. And he mentions like, hey, we're like, why do we gotta go to the field? You know, the fields are right here. You know, you got your own thing to do. And she's like, no, I want to go to a real farm. I want to go to the real world. It's kind of like an Aladdin situation where, like, you know, Princess Jasmine, she wants to know what's outside the palace. She wants to know what's outside the nobility.
Jeez.
But yeah, so she goes out to the countryside and checks out the farm. And we get a little montage. It was kind of seeing Katarina and Keith kind of interacting with all the farmers and stuff. And the thing that caught my attention was the fact you see this big pumpkin, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like a full-on Cinderella reference. Which of course the Cinderella stuff goes even further, because like they go into, you know, she discovers like, oh wait, this is Maria's town. Oh, we can go ahead and visit Maria's hometown and stuff, and maybe we might be able to find her. And Keith's like, no, don't. It's gonna be kind of rude to just kind of like drop in without any, you know, invitation and stuff. as that's going on, Maria is given a task to kind of go. And Maria's mom, like, okay, so I want to mention this right now. But when I saw Maria's mom, she looked super depressed. And this will lead on to kind of, something else that happens. But anyway, Katerina, Keith, they're kind of like, moving around moseying around the town, kind of like, figuring out where Maria is at. But then you kind of see in the background, kind of something sinister going on. These two girls are kind of gossiping and stuff. And I thought they were like classmates and stuff. I thought they were like, oh my god, Katerina's here. They probably figured out who she is and stuff. But then later, as like after they talk with the village people, they're approached by those same girls, and they're saying, hey, did you know that Maria's father is actually a nobleman? Because Maria using light magic is really rare, especially of common birth, because magic in general in this universe is meant for the nobility. So commoners almost never get the opportunity to use magic, especially if it's light magic, because light magic's like, you get regular magic like fire, earth, wind, water, and then light is like super rare. So a commoner using that, it's a huge deal. So that kind of like alludes to kind of like the situation that Maria's in. And Keith, of course, also kind of like comes in and kind of like helps Katerina, because these two girls are just bum rushing her with like questions and rumors and stuff. And Keith's like, okay, ladies, you gotta excuse us, and he pulls on the charm. He's like, okay, you guys have enough. We're trying to find this girl's house. You don't have to ask us questions. We don't got time for that. But then as she's walking around, like going to the house, it's like, the yard's kind of barren. Again, leading to kind of like what's going on. Knocks on the door. Maria's mom comes out, and Maria's mom was like, oh, she's not home yet. You can have some snacks though. Made some snacks, and she was like, oh wow. She was like, who made them? And it's like, oh no, they're just pre-bought. I thought, when I heard that, I was like, man. Like, that's messed up. But then Katerina brought up, like, oh, but Maria could make really good sweets. And she's like, and Maria's mom's like, what? She can make sweets? What? It's like, yeah, she's really good. So that really caught Maria's mom off surprise. At first I thought it was like, oh man, maybe she's not allowed to bake or anything like that. But then Maria comes back, and then Katerina's like, hey, can you, it's like, oh man, my stomach's growling, I'm making the rumbly tumbly. And that's when Maria's like, oh no, it's okay, I can make sweets, it's fine. But yeah, Maria's mom was just like really happy to hear that. And then like as that's going on, Katerina's like, hey, that yard, I got some seedlings and stuff, so I want to plant them. So in my mind, I was like, oh man, that was pretty much like her plan all along, which it was, obviously. And then as they're planning stuff, they're making my boy Keith work. like think about it, Keith did not sign up for this at all. Like, he was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'll protect Katerina and stuff, and all of a sudden he's out here doing like yard labor. But then like as Maria's making sweets, they cut to her flashback to like her like really making cookies with her mom and dad, and so everything was great, of course, up until when when one of Maria's friends, I guess, scraped her knee, and then she all of a sudden, like light magic healing her knee and stuff, or I guess no, not knee, like leg, shin, whatever. I guess that girl didn't keep her mouth shut, because everybody else was questioning, like, hey, how'd you get your light magic? Oh, your dad must have been a nobleman. Oh, your mom was probably like getting frisky with somebody else, or either that or your dad was nobleman, whatever. So things have gotten super awkward at home, and mom was just completely depressed, and she's like, oh man, I just want to regain my normal happiness, man. I work my hardest. I don't want anybody to blame me for my magic, but all the adults are just like, oh my god, I knew you were a special child. Your dad must have been a nobleman. But yeah, it sucks. Like her past life was so bad. Like she noticed like a group of girls like kind of sharing sweets and stuff. So she decided, you know what, I'm gonna go make some cookies myself. And she's trying her best. And she failed a few times, and then she was like, okay, you know what, they're coming good, and she made a whole bunch of cookies. She just wanted to share it, man. She tried sharing it, and then nobody else like wanted to take them, and then that was the day when, okay, you know what? No more sweets. No more. I'm done. I'm done with this. So that was kind of like her life right there. And you know, for a game MC, that was like really, that was like super important. But anyway, as that whole thing was going on, you know, of course, Maria's mom was also like super depressed too. She just was not, just like, how can I look her in the eye? I'm such a cruel mom. But yeah, you know, so they were toiling away, you know, and then Katarina was, of course, you know, doing work and stuff, and she notices, man, Maria's so happy, and she just has that bright smile, and she goes, Maria's mom goes to the closet, and we see some supplies with some rope, and we see a box, and I had some dark thoughts in my mind. I thought Maria's mom was like, my work here's complete, but regardless, she brings out the box, and then it turns out there's some cookie cutters, you know, with star shapes and heart shapes and good shapes and stuff. So thankfully, nothing dark happened. Thank goodness. But yeah, no. So the mom and Maria, they're working together and stuff, and it's just a grand old good time. You know, they were able to. Keith and Katarina was able to make plants and stuff, and it was just an all-around great day to hang out. And so it was really touching. And then Maria's mom is also like, okay, please keep being friends with Maria. And so yeah, it was really touching. Like that one little visit, it was just enough to kind of like make their day that much better. So that was really nice. Oh, and before all that ended, though, of course, when they came back, Keith was like, hey, you know, we should go check in with Mom. And they're like, yeah, let's go check in with Mom, you know, because they decided, like, you know, Maria's mom, all right, let's go check in with our mom. And let's just say that Katarina's mom was not all that thrilled. Not all that thrilled with kind of what's going on. She figured it out, basically, with the alternate clothes and stuff, because she's just, again, these kind of activities are not exactly ladylike. It's like, oh, you started a farm on magic grounds. Oh boy. Thankfully, she's still alive. You know, Katarina's still alive, but I'm pretty sure she pretty much got a nice, good old butt whooping. But yeah, that was episode 5. All around, still great. Can't wait for another 2 episodes. Again, we're taking the 2 episode route because I feel like that's appropriate. So, again, we'll do another 2 batches next week. Hopefully Omar will be here. No, he will be here. All right, and now moving on to our next episode, Gleipnir. We go off and start off with a nice old flashback of little Shuichi. I couldn't tell the difference. Body structure wise, he looked a little shorter, but he looks the same. Like there's no difference at all other than his height and his voice. So it's a flashback, and he goes to this cram school, and he sees this old lady. He's like, hey, you know, it's like he did some grocery shopping and stuff like that, you know, getting ready for studies and stuff. And right when he sees like a lot of eyes and stuff outside of the room, or a lot of shadows outside the room, he starts kind of like, you know, shaking up, and that's when he gets out of that state. And when he finally wakes up, he's all normal for him. He's not in that he's not in that his bear suit form.
It was all a dream.
It was all a dream. I was kind of scared for Chihiro, because I was like, wait a minute. Last I remember, Chihiro was inside of the suit. Does that mean he transferred back? Nah, thankfully, Chihiro's right there, still naked. She didn't have her clothes. She took off her clothes last 2 episodes. So she's been naked for 2 episodes now. But thankfully, Yota, the handsome dude, was in the premises. Found her clothes and stuffed it in the helmet and stuff. So, and thankfully they also found her wallet too. So all's well that ends well. That then, of course, you know, they had to go back. And
well, they questioned them why.
Yeah,
they
had
happened?
to put on the choker.
Like what happened to the whole area.
Yeah, so they
Like,
had to.
They didn't remember.
Yeah, they had to take the choker of truth, and then when the leader when they questioned her, Sayaka, I think her name was, right? Leader. Yeah, I'll just go with Sayaka. If I make a mistake, I'll edit that out. I'll edit the name in, but I'm pretty sure that's her name. Sayaka, she questions, like, saying, "Hey, what happened when you guys were there?" And neither Shuichi or Chihiro would actually remember. They just remember being crushed, and then all of a sudden they're okay. It kind of raises some red flags. The cameraman Ikeuchi was not happy or thrilled at all when he found out. He was just like, "How dare you? How dare you take him?" And that's when we found. And then after that, they go through introductions, and we find out that the monster, the big monster man, where the wild things are dude, is actually really timid. He's kind of like basically human Piglet. He's very timid. He likes flowers and plants, and his big form is actually meant to heal. So he's basically the definition of a gentle giant. I have no idea why he looks like that, because again, the whole premise of the fact that what you think that power comes from is supposed to be what that is. But anyway, so he has the power to make plants and stuff, and he tells Shuichi, "Hey, I remember you from cram school." And Shuichi's like, "What cram school? What are you talking about? I was the only student in cram school. You must be getting somebody else confused." But to be fair, I mean, Shuichi doesn't exactly look like the most unique character out there, so I can see that. But regardless, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with his faulty memory. Like it's pretty much confirmed that Shuichi's an amnesiac. He doesn't remember jack about what happened. But anyway, so as we continue through the introductions and stuff, we also find out that the convenience store clerk, the girl that works there, is also in this team too, and she's actually she actually has Aihara is her name, and her power is the ability to turn invisible. So she's basically Violet from The Incredibles. I don't think she has force field powers, but pretty sure she could just turn invisible. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole team. Because again, we got introduced to a good half of them at first, but now we got the full team, and we basically know what everybody else looks like. At first, I thought we don't know what Yota looks like, because his transformed state is just him with a suit. But if he changed his face, we wouldn't know that. But regardless, though, Sayaka's saying, "Hey, you guys should, we showed you guys what we look like and stuff, and I want to see what your guys' true capabilities are." Chihiro pretty much knows front and back what Shuichi was, because they shared memories. But regardless, Isao, the monster dude, he makes a tree come up with his seedlings, and he's like, "Hey, try your powers on this." Shuichi transforms. Claire gets in, and they immediately just the tree into oblivion. Well, not oblivion. They just cut the tree down. But the thing that catches Ikeuchi, the cameraman, off guard is the fact that he looks at the attack, and he was just super upset. What are you talking about? This is your power? Later, of course, we find out why he's like that, but regardless, so Chihiro walks around, and Claire's trying to confront Chihiro in the situation. It's like, "Hey, what happened when you were inside him?" "Oh, you're lying." It's like, "I don't know. I kind of saw his memories, and I'm just saying you're kind of the opposite of what Shuichi wants. So you guys are never going to be able to synchronize." It's like, so Chihiro was basically able to find out that she was upset, that Claire was upset, obviously, since Shuichi's kind of her man. Maybe not on paper, but still. But Chihiro basically just deduced that, yeah, you guys are just totally opposites. You don't even know what Shuichi even wants. Because again, the problem with the current matters is that Shuichi doesn't see himself as a main character, so he's just basically going off of what other people are telling him. So he doesn't exactly have that particular want, other than that one time when they fought the kid, Subaru. But yeah, so as they're walking back home, Claire's like, let's go to the convenience store. You're hungry? So they got some noodles, and a lot more sexual tension happens. A lot of innuendos, because she was like, hey, you were inside of me, or you were inside of you, and then she was also naked too. So this is obviously just symbolism for sex. Just no beating around the bush here. Regardless though, Claire basically makes a promise that, like, hey, let's get to know each other way better. Which again, it's implications that count. But she knows for a fact that something has obviously happened, because they can't just have done nothing while they were like passed out or something. Like, there was a party going on between two different factors, between the kid and somebody, and it sure as heck ain't my sister that went out to protect him. And then Chihiro, in another, same time, she's sitting on a park bench, and then she was trying to make a phone call to somebody. I thought it was to Shuichi, kind of like talk to him, it's like, hey, how's it going and stuff. I thought we might be getting some love triangle going on, but then I was like, Shuichi can't sleep and stuff, and he's like just walking around. He notices his friend Abukawa, who's digging a hole for something, and Shuichi's like trying to, it's like, hey, it's hot, and just trying to walk around, and oh man, doggy got hit by a car. Ooh. So he's trying to respect the animal, burying him and stuff like that, and he wants to help. Abukawa's like, nah, I only got one shovel. Thanks for the offer. But then he realizes, wait a minute, this dog is it's not right. Something ain't right about this. So he kind of like trying to follow it up with asking about what's going on. But Abukawa's trying to, I don't know if he's trying to, but he's just kind of like diluting the situation where he's like, hey, you're unrecognizable without your glasses. So they go back to the same convenience store, and Abukawa's there with his friends. He realizes like he's acting like a completely different person, so he's no idea what the heck's happening. So obviously something's up, but we're not gonna be getting answers for that arc anytime, like at least here. So then cut to the following day after school. Shuichi's just kind of like thinking about the whole confrontation, well, not really the confrontation, but the whole scene in general, kind of playing it back in his head, and then he notices his friend Mifune, and just trying to like, he's like, yeah, this bike's kind of working. It's good old CGI. Doesn't look natural at all. So Shuichi goes in and fixes it, and then he realizes, like, man, this is what my powers are for. It's to help people. But unlike Spider-Man, it's not something that he feels that he can do on his own, because he feels like that I need somebody inside of me. I'm like the robot. I need a pilot, and that pilot is like Claire. But then of course I was just like, kind of like thinking about that. Ikuichi has his camera phone. He just has so much traitor energy just overflowing. Like not directly, because obviously everybody in the party has to wear a choker. Snaps your neck off if you betray them. But regardless, he just like does not like him at all. I mean, for good reason too, because he was blackmailed originally to join. But Ikuichi just deduced that the cut that they made with the monster was from one big slash, and Shuichi's basically he didn't snitch or anything like that, but he was basically just answering the questions in regards to, yeah, that attack that you saw wasn't for me, it was somebody that I know. And he's like, okay, you're not lying. I'm pretty sure you're not lying, because if you were, then that thing's gonna cut off your neck. So you can't betray us at all. So, well, Ikuichi is kind of acting like a big wiener. That's when, he's like, yeah, he can't do anything alone. Like, this power isn't for me. That's when he basically mentions all that. Cut to the same evening right afterward, and then it turns out that Chihiro, the phone call that she was trying to make, was actually for Elena. So at first when Chihiro called Elena, actually, Elena couldn't talk because the kid Subaru was there. So he's like, okay, I'll call you back later. I don't talk to strangers, so I'm gonna talk to you I'm gonna call you back when I'm comfortable. She keeps her end of the bargain because obviously she wants to talk with Chihiro by herself. And Chihiro just basically like called to just for answers. She just wants to know like, hey, what the heck is happening? What happened in between that? I know you know something about this. And Elena said, yeah, that power that allowed you guys to meld together, that was actually Shuichi's power. So I'm not sure who brought that up last week. I don't know if it was me or Omar. I said it was probably Chihiro's power that she probably didn't know about. Or somebody. But yeah, it was basically Shuichi's power that allows them to do that. So the wearer of the suit and the suit itself, Shuichi, when they mold together, they become immensely powerful. It's basically like the fusion dance, but it's only active on one person, and that one person can fuse with anybody. But regardless, that's when they get information about the phone number for Elena, and Elena's like, I didn't even give my phone number to my sister. How the hell did you find out about it? She starts transforming for I'd say no reason, because like nobody's really watching her. Why is she transforming? I guess it's just to make the voice. But she's like, hey, one false move, kid, and I'm gonna kill you, Third Strike style. And then she says, hey, I tapped into Shuichi's memories. So Shuichi's memories are kind of blocked out on purpose. I'm pretty sure somebody set him up to make him lose his memories. And she wants to know why that is. At the same time, she also realizes that Elena is not a bad person at all, and that Elena should come back, and Elena's, waterworks come on. She's like, oh man. So obviously that kind of that not just hints, but that blatantly explains that Elena was in really good terms with Shuichi. I'd say they were probably even like lovers maybe, but we don't exactly know that. Chihiro's just again going off on the fact that she's like, you're not a bad person, you should come with us. But Elena's like, sorry, I can't. I've taken the dark path. Like Sonic Adventure 2, light side, dark side, and I've taken that dark side. And they brought up the fact that they need 100 coins, which I don't think they brought up like the number of coins. But I always assumed it was 100 coins because 100 coins equals an extra life. That's my philosophy. So basically, they also bring up the fact that like maybe somebody already found those 100 coins and they're just manipulating this whole scenario. And then we cut to the little doll, the little like monster doll that Shuichi can basically transform into, and then her posse comes, and they're like, "Oh, this is you guys. Are you having a private call?" And she's like, "Nah." But before that, she was mentioning how Shuichi and I have different goals now, so we can't be together. And the squad comes up, and they're all edgy with their black cloaks and stuff, and she's wearing her black cloak. So she mentions like, it doesn't concern you. I got my private call, and so we have our own goal to set out for. So there's no point in like prying into each other's like memories or anything like that. Claire, of course, in another scene, Claire's like brings out a coin. She's just stark naked in her apartment. Kind of a good way to catch a cold right there without drying herself. But regardless, go to the next scene, final scene. They're like, we gotta get the coins, we gotta get the 100, because we only have 5, and we're not gonna get 100. It's 2 months went by, we only have 5. At this rate, we'll never find one. And as they're showing like everybody's like past and kind of like what they look like and stuff, we also see Yota kind of like what he looked like before, and it's pretty much the same. So that pretty much shoots off the fact that Yota looked anything but different. And like, so that's when their next goal, gotta find the ship itself, that spaceship, and then we can be able to gather the 100 coins. So it's pretty much a setup for next episode to find that mothership. So we'll just have to wait and see where that goes. And then we move on to our next episode of this week. We move on to Tower of God. So last episode we basically left off on the 4th test and how Quant, the proctor of this test, how he's basically trying to find out who's it. And from last episode, we were able to deduce, well, not deduce, but we were able to kind of like put together like more of kind of like what this test was about. And it is just tag, really. They were trying to find out who's it though, and the person who's it has a badge. At first, Quant thought that it was Shibisu that had the badge, and so like everybody else was attacking him and everything, and they're just trying their best. Anak used her whip sword, Green April, and everybody's just trying to figure out like who has the badge. Quant is just like casually mentioning, oh, this is a surprise attack, wasn't it? It's like, oh, we'll just go with plan B. So they have like all these different like plans and stuff of attack, and they're just doing everything they can to just kind of like set this dude up. Everything pretty much goes fine, and then so there's also moments and stuff where they cut to Rack and the big dude from the deadly trio, basically, that consists of Michelle and Dorsey, and they're just eating the chocolate bar. At first it was Rack that was eating them, and then it was a big dude that was eating them. So it's kind of funny that it's just access to this. And then while this whole tags thing is going on, we also cut to Team B that's also checking out what the competition is doing, and it's kind of funny because like they're all basically saying like, oh man, I can't wait for Team A's asses to get kicked, but Bam being Bam and being like basically super wholesome, he's like, you realize that Kun is also in the party, in the other team, and so like deep down he wants Kun to win because Kun's his friend. He can't abandon his friends. But again, there's also kind of like that whole Rachel Michelle thing, and that was pretty much Bam's whole reasoning for trying to climb the towers to see Rachel. But man, it sucks for Bam, but he has to pull through the way any way he can. And so we cut to the test itself. Quant's kind of a hothead. I think it's kind of like giving his Super Saiyan hair with all that red and stuff. But everybody's basically taking into position in that spiral tower, and it's like that one scene out of Naruto in that 4th Great Ninja War, just like boom, 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 just like taking everybody out and stuff. In general, so it's a spectacle of great animation and stuff. Everybody's trying their best, but obviously they're not the important characters that we grew to love or see. So they get their asses royally kicked. They all try their best to kind of like even the playing field, but they're not dying, but they're just getting their butt kicked. Everybody else is super happy, but you see Bam like kind of like being bummed out because again, poor Bam, he's at his feelings and heart is in the right place, but nobody's seeing that. So that's why he's just kind of like getting ostracized for like all these different like all his team members. Like, what? You don't like Team B? Come on, what are you, crazy, dude? So, and then you cut to Ho, and kind of I'm still wondering about that letter, and I'm pretty sure it's not anything too pleasant. But regardless, it's heavily hinted that either Anak or the others are probably it. Because Shibisu is obviously not, because again, Quant pretty much like found out, and then Laure, the sleeping dude, is taking his position by sleeping. He's just drooling and everything, and then Kun is like up there at the top. He's just like, oh, I'm up there. Oh my god! And then again, cut to Rack and the big dude, the other big dude, and then they're just like, oh, I've bested you at the spear challenge, and then they're just like celebrating by eating this whole bucket full of candy bars. And then of course, Anak is deduced to be being the one that has the badge, and Quant's just like pretty much like, again, he's on point. He's just taking out all the Team A's dudes one by one. And Rex also, he's straight up confident that Blue Turtle, he has a plan. He knows exactly what's up. But and then they mentioned that all Quant's Shinsu is his spirit energy is like he still has some stuff to spare. Uh, and then like as that's going on, Shibisu, kind of gets with the other two. I want to know their names. I think they have names, but I don't really think they mentioned it. But regardless, Shibisu's like, "Hey, come on, guys, what's wrong?" Unfortunately, Quant's right there, listening in exactly what's going on, and yeah, things ain't good. Things ain't looking too good. Because other than these guys, Anuk's the only one that he hasn't searched. So he basically airport searches them by kicking their butts, and yeah, they just, it didn't work. Quan's just has this weird little running thing, he just kind of put his hand in his back and skip it along, no problem. But Shibisu, he tried, man. He tried. He tried holding on his feet and everything. He's basically the last man standing. It's 300 over here. And he finally gets to the top and he sees Kun is here. He's like, what's going on? Why is Kun here? Because he could have sworn that he was like, oh, I found your it. I know who it is. Where is she? And it's like, oh, just good luck making it this far. And he knew, it was like, okay, so he's gotta be here somewhere. And as soon as he was saying that, he pretty much deduced, okay, she's down there, isn't it? She's down there. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. Okay, so if he's not down there, then what else is there? And then as he was kind of explaining that, we also cut to the fact that yes, indeed, Anuk was indeed right there. Kun mentions that, oh, no time to explain. Put you in this little hypercube, go down right there, just kind of chill out right there in the bottom. And with that being said, Kun's just trying to de-escalate the situation, just saying, hey, dude, I know your power's running out, man. You should probably try to conserve your energy as much as possible. And Quant's not having any of that. He's just like, yeah, no, I know you guys are hiding the secret. She's down there. And so, in a bold Chad-like move, he just grabs Kun's hand, and he's like, I can show you the world, and just dives first right down into the pit. And Kun's like, what's this dude's doing? But he's like, nope, I ain't being a part of that. You can go ahead and leave. And then he's like, oh my god, he's trying to die? This is just crazy. And then Anuk saves him. Quant was bested at this game, and everything looks pretty good, all things considered. Anuk uses that to go up. Kun goes down. Kun is kind of hanging there a little bit, and everything is pretty much hunky-dory. Now, with that being said, Anuk basically dashes towards the finish line, and Bam is super happy. He's like, yeah, they're making it, they're doing it. And everybody else is like, oh, no, what are you saying? What are you saying, man? Everybody, including Leroto, our resident Willy Wonka, is like, hey, no, there's no way. Quant's done. He barely has any power left. He's down there, and he can't come back up. And sure enough, he can't. He's just stuck down there, and he's like, he lost. But then, into the distance, we hear a familiar voice that sounds very similar to Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And sure enough, Quant's just up there, zooms past Anuk, and just takes the badge. And with that, Team A loses. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. Team B is just happy. Bam's not. And Team A's just bummed out for a good reason, because they lost. Raccoon's just trying to, man, I failed you guys. And at first, no joke, I thought I was honestly like sad for him, because he planned this whole thing out, and then like all of a sudden Quant just comes back up. But you know, thankfully the boys and girls, they got his back, and they're like, yeah, you know, it's like you're fine, man. And she was like, oh my god. And he's just like harping on Lowry. It's like, come on, man, you're just a lazy sack. You're just sleeping down there and stuff. And then we got some more shonen hijinks. Kanek's like, you can't even beat a blanket. But cut back to what actually happened, and it turns out Lowry wasn't sleeping on the job. Him and Kun actually had something sinister going on, and they actually helped Quant go back up. And Quant's just like, what are you doing, dude? Why are you trying to help me? He's like, you want to go up, right? You want to win this game? Well, here you go. Here's your cube. Lowry, you have water powers. Boom! Shoots it up into the sky, back on the bridge, and that's how Quant was able to do it. Now you might be asking, why is that? That doesn't make sense at all. Well, cut to Team B, you know, trying to do the same task, because again, Team A lost. Team B is about to start. And Leroro was like, you know, helping Quant. That's betrayal. That's straight up. They're just snitches. And the other guy who's like, the other proctor, he's like, nope. They ain't betraying, dude. This is Metal Gear. It's like some Ocelot shenanigans going on. So they did betray it, but it's actually like a double betrayal going on. They're a double agent, because apparently the friend list that they made last episode was actually meant to basically mark off who's going to be part of this pact. And because of this, Kun communicated with Bam that, okay, they're gonna choose carefully as to kind of like what their team of attack is, and it turns out all the people in that list were actually part of Team B, which blows your mind with all this stuff. So basically, all those guys, Kun, Anak, Shibisu, Lowry, they were basically guaranteed to pass as long as they lose, and they had to make it work that way without letting the others know. That is some professional backstabbing right there. And Quan's just like, oh my god, I can't believe I let myself do that. And then we're gonna cut to Team B, and like everybody's like, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader. I'm the leader. This bootleg Zoro, and then Bam's like looking at Rachel, and he's like, no, that's not Rachel, it's Michelle. And Dorsey's just trying to like pull her feminine charms, like, hey, you know, it's like can you guys, like, if whoever's the leader, can you guys show me like what's going on and stuff? And with that, like, as everybody disperses, that's when we kind of see we see as everybody disperses, Hot's is basically giving orders. It's like, hey, you guys saw what happened with Team A. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen with us. We gotta like actually be on point with this kind of stuff. And those two spear wielders, I just like calling them, like, one of them I call him King Piccolo. They were like pointing at Hots. And then Serena, she's like, I don't know if this is okay. And Ho's there. I was like, why not? And Serena mentions, like, these guys, they're like family now. Like, I used to, like, when I first came here, I used to be super into, like, you know, being number one. And then we cut to Serena's backstory and kind of like how she started off, like, you know, lock picking and stuff. And okay, what is about to happen just completely blows my mind, because they go up to a ranker, right? And immediately this ranker chops people's chops all of her teammates', like her friends' heads off, and bisects them and everything. And I'm just like, holy hell! Like this level of violence and gore was nowhere else in the anime. And she's like the only person left, and then the rabbit dude in the first episode actually appeared to her, and he was the one that saved her. Which is the reason why she was involved in climbing the tower in the first place. So that was like completely like like Serena definitely had it rough like right before coming in here. That was crazy. And she told everything to Ho, and then Ho's like, okay, you realize that we do this to climb the tower, no hard feelings. And I was thinking like, man, Ho, I don't know what's going on with you. Regardless, though, we go back to Hots, and turns out he won. He won the little skirmish, gives them back their spears, and then they're like, okay, we'll listen to what you're doing. And Dorsey with Bam and like the other dude that was like, hey, I'm the leader, goes in and he immediately just drop kicks the leader dude, and she's like, my plan worked. And that's where they end the episode, which is really weird. Like, it just cut to her just kicking this guy in the ground, and that was it. But it was a really solid episode. I'm pretty sure next episode we're probably gonna get the ending to that. It was nice, pretty solid. But yeah, now moving on to the next episode, we got Precon, Princess Connect Redive the Animation, and here we see Kokoro making memories with Carol and her lord Yuki and Pecorine. We see kind of like what happened with the last episode, like in the aftermath, how they were able to harvest. They were able to actually proceed to the legit guild quest that they were doing originally, and it turns out actually that the guild quest that they did at that time was the first one, which blew my mind. I thought they were doing a whole bunch of other quests before, but that was the first one. And then since then, I guess quite a good amount of time passed, and the others were they were able to do a whole bunch of other quests, and yeah, and all around things have been going pretty well. Carol's planting some rice, Pecorine's water and everything is all great and dandy. But of course, things aren't all that great, because Carol is reminded of the fact that she's meant to be observing these guys. She still kind of gives information in regards to kind of like what's going on with the team and everything like that, and the mysterious bejeweled I don't know, bad guy or whatever. She's like, it's like, hey, you have to also examine Yuki as well. So I guess because of the last episode, Yuki is actually pretty important to this whole thing going on. So yeah, so while that whole subplot is still happening, which again we won't be able to get too deep into this episode, we cut to the gang just like kind of planning these plans, and Yuki getting attacked by a frog, and she's like, what's was there any value to analyzing these guys? They're just dorks. So they go to the guild hall, and then they're trying to find some fun quests to do, and Carol's like, nah, this is stupid. Yuki, though, he finds an interesting quest, which is completely written in crayon, and they're like, we're seeking a master, we need help. And it's like, oh, there's gonna be a whole bunch of rewards, and it's gonna be awesome. But then Miss Karin, the guild girl, she's like, oh, that's not a guild approved quest, so that's been coming in like all the time. We don't know who puts it out, but yeah, we just take it down each day. Yuki still takes the paper though. It's just kind of like reading it, or I don't even know if he can even read, to be honest. But anyway, so the kids that we saw before, I kind of like have this whole like problem going on. Like Misogi, the little orange-haired girl, she's crying and she's like, oh, where? She's like. And then he immediately come back in front of him and then start playing the waterworks again in front of our team. And Carol's like, what's going on? I was like, oh my god, is this a play? And then like they shoot out a dart. It's like, oh look, it's the thing. Oh, are you guys interested in that quest? So they were basically just like, again, this is just classic manipulation 101. They just wanted these guys to be quote unquote interested in the quest, so that way they could help out. And the quest itself was basically that they need masters for their guild called Little Lyrical, and they want to be legit. They want to be legit adventurers. It's funny too because Carol asks like, "Hey, what do you guys want to be? Why do you guys want to make a guild so bad?" And one of them mentions that like we want to actually protect the land of Linsol, and Carol's like, I just want to know how this plays out. What was it? Pecorine's like, I just want fish, and Kokoro's like, I just want to make memories with Master. And everyone's like, yeah, we totally feel the same way. We want to protect the land too, of course. It has nothing to do with any of that. But yeah, so they take the opportunity to kind of like help them out, and you know that same night we see Pecorine make this weird cage looking thing, and
they're creating a quest.
They're legit like making a quest for the little guys, and Pecorine's like making this cage, and like legit I thought that she was making a cage for like to stuff food in or something like that to take with. We don't know exactly what yet. And then Yuki is like making like a little badge. What is that? That looks horrifying. It's like this weird little monster thing. I guess it's like trying to make a little badge or something like that. But yeah, it was horrifying. But thank God we don't see that again. Cut to next morning. Pecorine's like lining everybody up. It's like, hey, okay. So this is how this whole quest thing works. So you guys are gonna go follow this map. Make sure you look at it well. You guys are gonna go to this particular location. You guys are gonna hit up this place. Treasure's up at the top, and make sure you bring it back. Oh, and for the like, make sure you guys have the camping gear and stuff, because you know it's gonna take a while. And they have a lunch, canteen, snacks. They got all the whole shaboodle. But of course, with that, they sent their number one guy, Yuki, to take care of them. Which you know that this is gonna be a fantastic quest having Yuki help out, because he's super reliable. But Pecorine's like, as long as they follow the map, they're fine. And my lord is Kokoro's like, my lord's with them, so it's all good, it's fine. it'll go great. But then we have like a SpongeBob moment where it's like, the thing is pointing left, but the map says go right, but the compass is pointing left. And then they're little, so they don't understand that like the compass pointing north is what it actually means. So they ask Yuki, he's like, hey, should we follow the map? Should we follow the compass? And Yuki's like, let's go through the compass. Just points at that.
And Pecorine and them, they're just in the background.
Yeah, they're trying to. Pecorine and the others are actually kind of like supervising them from afar, just kind of like making sure that they're okay. But of course, it's not okay. And as Little Lyrical, the members are trying to like singing and stuff, they get attacked by spiders. By attack, I mean they just drop on their heads, and there's a whole bunch of other spiders. And the fighter girl goes in, trying to protect them, and she comically punches the spider web, and she keeps like trying to get the spider web off. And Coker's like, "What the hell, monsters? Monsters!" It's like, "Hey, look, Master, help!" I don't think Yuki was involved in anything combat related at all. He's just kind of like, okay, just kind of seeing what they're doing. It's like, I believe in you. Good luck. So it's like, okay, we got Master's blessing. We can do this. So they're fighting spider web. They're still fighting a whole bunch of spider webs and stuff. And eventually, though, I mean, they actually, so Kokoro and them, they're trying to say, hey, go the other way. That's not the right way. And Yuki's like, yes, I got it. And so they catch all the spiders and they nab all the spider webs and stuff. They're like, yeah, we did it. Nice. Yuki, just being the number one dude, looks at the map and he realizes, okay, let's go that way. And
still the wrong way.
It's going the wrong way. That doesn't even lead to like any road of any kind. Nobody questions it. And then we see this giant monster I thought was legit like what the heck is this? But as soon as that monster started talking, I realized, okay, that's somebody in a suit. And it turns out, yeah, it's actually Pecorine. Pecorine's like, okay, this path is dangerous. Don't go here at all. You gotta go that way. Now, it's interesting though, because Pecorine wearing that suit, trying to guide the kids to not go that way. So the question is, did she have that suit planned in case this would happen? Or was she planning to be a monster for the kids to beat up? That's my question. But regardless, they take the ladder and start tear gassing her. She's like, I can't see! And they beat her up with their staves and stuff. And yeah, Pecorine just gets bullied by these kids. He trips over, tumbles down, and screams, my eyes, and the kids are like, yeah, we did it. So yeah, that was pretty much like their one and only victory right there, is to beat Pecorine in this monster costume. As this whole thing is going on, we see Granny Wolf.
Yeah, they were still going the wrong way.
They're still going the wrong way, and they see like the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood try to eat Yuki, as all monsters do. They do their best and to like try to beat them up, and then you see Carol in the background zap them with her dark magic, and yeah, she's just like, yeah, we did it. So Yuki gives the thumbs up again. It's like, oh man. But unfortunately, as this whole quest is going on, they're still going the wrong way, by the way. And they're eating, they're having a fun time and everything like that. But
Carol and
Kokoro, they're
tired.
They're super tired. They're not doing the best. And I was thinking, like, man, where's Pecorine at? Like, shouldn't she be around? And then she is around. But man, she looks scary in that monster costume. Like, it's terrifying now. Like, it was terrifying before, but now she's like missing teeth and like her eyes popping out, and there's a flesh-colored hole, and it was gross.
And she can't get out of it.
So yeah, enjoy seeing Pecorine in this abominable snowman costume for the rest of the episode. But yeah, so she was just talking about, like, you know, it's like they're going straight to this bird nest.
Flying chicken.
And it's flying chicken, and it immediately swoops and grabs Yuki. It's like Yuki is just like the damsel in distress in a lot of this situation, where he gets like, you know, taken to their nest and stuff, and is like about to be eaten and stuff. So because of that, Little Lyrical that goes in and tries to save him, they walk into this hollowed out tree where the bird's nest is, and in that nest is where Yuki's at. So obviously the big chicken is not having any of that. It immediately goes into this combat stance, and Little Lyrical, they gotta do what they can to save their master. Throw out their biggest attacks. They threw out like a bomb, like spells and a whole bunch of other stuff, but the bird ain't having it. Just immediately flaps away, and then they get unconscious. They get thrown in the nest. And so our actual main characters, Kokoro, Carol, Pecorine, you know, they gotta do what they gotta do to go in and help her. It's just hilarious because this dude is literally just a big chicken, and they're just like, and Yuki's just kind of like in a Sleeping Beauty pose, just kind of like, because they're like sleeping right there. And unfortunately, though, the reason why they're having a tough time trying to like take out this big chicken is because Carol and Kokoro, they used up all their magic trying to face off, you know, trying to protect all the kids and stuff from all the monsters from the bad path. And Pecorine is like trying to run away, but the problem is that with her situation, she's been hungry all day because she couldn't eat from the suit itself. So it's not looking that great. Fortunately though, the camper's bags is like right there, so she was able to kind of like just shimmy her way, like, you know, kind of like roll her way into it. But as soon as it happened, big chicken pecked right into the suit, and Pecorine, like Goku, was able to find the food and basically stuff herself with food right at the nick of time, and was able to eat like a full meal. And that's when she brought out the big gun with the sword, and she was able to basically doink the chicken into submission. Not sure if it died or if they ate it later, but regardless, they won. And then Little Lyrical woke up and they're like, "Oh man, was that us? Man, we did it!" And cut to the Dora dance. They're all happy and stuff. And Yuki's like, "Oh, it's like, we just wanted to shadow you guys to make sure you guys were good." And it's like, "Oh, we completed the quest! Yay!" And they were trying to look for the treasure and stuff, and they had no idea what that was. But it turns out the true treasure was your happiness. Was friendship all along. So then, like, Pecorine gets this egg to kind of celebrate, to make omelets out of.
No, that was gonna be the treasure.
That was gonna be the treasure, and then like this big bird comes in, and and I'm all like as the bird goes in, I'm like, oh, it's like, Mama, here you are. But one of the members of Little Lyrical actually found out that, hey, you guys actually set us up,
Mimi.
Right? Like, we didn't actually.
I think her name's Mimi.
Mimi? I thought Mimi was the other one, the pink-haired one.
Oh, you'll put it up.
I'll put it up right here. Who Mimi is and who this girl is. But yeah, so she realizes, like, wait a minute. So you guys are the ones that actually did the quest and stuff, right? Like, it wasn't us. And it's like, yeah. It's like, okay, I won't tell anybody. They also thought, like, oh, Yuki also pretended to want to do this, but nah. So then we go back to the rice, to planting rice and stuff, and it actually turns out that the rice was that big chicken was actually the main issue during the rice, because it was actually, like, they were able to kill it with without making any puns aside, they were able to kill two birds with one stone, and everybody is a-okay. And the chicken, baby chicken, was actually Little Lyrical's pet all along, so that was nice. Speaking of pet and animals, we're gonna go straight into brand new animal, BNA, and man, it starts off real dark because we see this goat person, this goat girl, go insane, wondering what the heck that was, and Shiro just kind of like touches his collar, which, by the way, I thought the collar thing was just kind of like, aesthetic, or just kind of like a fashion thing, but all that is very important. The mayor of Anima City is kind of like looking in the fact that there's more people, riots in the street, and the cult's gaining more influence and such. Trying to figure out what's going on. It talks to Alan Silvasta for like any additional help that's needed. So far, like, again, we kind of have a feeling that Alan is not exactly the most trustworthy person, especially given the previous episodes, like, demeanors and stuff. But he's the one that's actually investing in Anima City. And right before the intro rolls, they cut to he pulls up information about the rhinoceros scientist from what was it, 2-3 episodes ago?
I think so.
Yeah. So either way, we find out that Deathrube and the rest of the Ginro Society actually moved in right next to Michiru. What a shock. They set up a statue and everything of Ginro-sama with wings and everything, and it's kind of weird. So Michiru takes to the sky with her newfound powers to kind of scope out the situation, kind of like have a little breather, and she just casually finds Nazuna sitting right there in her true form. Kind of goes to her, just kind of like, trying to say, hey, this whole Deathrube thing's like, kind of not, shouldn't really do that. No, but of course not before.
She says with the wings.
Yeah, Nazuna commented on the wings. It's like, hey, you got wings? So you got wings now, you can fly. It's like, yeah, I barely learned this yesterday, but you didn't tell me that you could fly too. So there's still more tension and stuff, and I guess the thing I was worried about was like whether or not like Michiru's thing would kind of like be diminished. I guess like her trust would have been like kind of messed with. I guess, I don't know, regardless though, Nazuna is saying, I'm not Nazuna, I'm Deathroot-sama. I'm different. And then she flies off.
Wolf Jesus.
Well, she's Wolf Jesus, yeah. But she's like, I don't remember what kind of language that was. What was that? I mean, she was still speaking Japanese, but I guess she meant that more so than that. You know, it's like, I don't even recognize her kind of thing. So she comes back. She's in a bad mood because, again, she's not Nazuna. She's Deathroot. And she was like, she went to go see her, right? It's like, I just stumbled upon her, so I don't know why you're on about. Well, I don't know why you're on my case. You know, Michiru, she's had it kind of rough in this past time, but Shiro's just looking out. They mentioned how like a Falcon Beastman got caught, and I was thinking like, oh, Falcon, that might be Meteor. It's not though. Shiro invites Michiru to come with him to the police station and stuff to kind of like check out the scene.
She was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised honestly too, because like at first I thought, okay, they probably don't have anything to do with him, but then the commissioner, the Bloodhound commissioner, and Boris, aka Dio, comes in and checks out the Rhino Beastman scientist, and the dude has like a broken nose for obvious reasons, because if you guys remember from a couple episodes ago, Shiro just breaks off his horn. I'm like, oh my god, it looks so painful. Like I'm not an animal or anything like that, because like when he broke his horn and the other guy's antlers, I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, so with that, I don't know whose idea it was to just let Boris just come in by himself without any supervision at all, but he does, and the Rhino is just terrified, knowing that what's gonna happen is probably not gonna be great. So he leaves, and then the Rhino Beastman cut to him in his cell, and then all of a sudden he's just kind of like bashing his head in and everything like that. And
the Hawk dude was there.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Because you know he went to prison and stuff.
That's true. Yeah. Meteor. That's crazy though, because I thought they caught him. So
well, he was in jail.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, I thought he escaped, but yeah, you're right though. Either way though, like he started transforming, and what's kind of not great is the fact that him transforming was actually him transforming into his Rhino form, and not just any Rhino form. He transforms into this big burly form, which he straight up mutates into this giant Rhino thing, and just starts like tossing cars. The policemen are just like, just trying to shoot him and stuff, and not great. Situations it was not great. So they send so Shiro goes into the scene, fights him fist to fist, even though he's like 20 times bigger than him, and it breaks his arm. But as soon as he kind of like rushes in and like kicks him, his arm just snaps back into place and fixes itself. So there's definitely some weird shenanigans going on, but he's still having trouble. So immediately Michiru is like, okay, I gotta help you. And he's like, dude, just run, just get out of here. He's like, no, I can't, you can't just say that you can do everything alone. I want to help you. And she's trying to flap her wings, even though like she's trying to take this big dude out, even though like he's like super duper like gnarly giant. So she extends her wings and like flaps in the air. And I thought she was just gonna drop him into the ocean, but no, it was a warehouse that conveniently had like a whole bunch of chains and stuff.
He couldn't because she couldn't because he was moving way too much.
Yeah, so she had to drop him wherever she could, and she was like really close to the ocean too. But yeah, she dropped him in this warehouse, and by that time Shiro had been able to like basically place him under arrest in all these chains. But nope, Rhino dude evolves again.
No, he pierces him.
Yeah, but like his horn grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he at this point, he's not even a rhino at this point. He's just like, he was a monster before, but he barely looks like a rhino anymore other than like the horn. So he stabs him right in the gut. He gains a new pair of arms, and he, oh my goodness, like he just like grabs Shiro and just like beats him into a bloody pulp, and the blood spatters and stuff. It looks like a scene straight up from Kill la Kill, with the blood spattering and stuff. He barely looks recognizable, but as we've established before, he is immortal. So Michiru is just basically shuffling through her transformations. She's flying around. She's extending her arms.
No, well, we didn't know that yet. We didn't know he was immortal yet.
No, we did.
No.
No,
the
they were
guy
talking...
knew. The president. The president was the only one that knew.
No, they were talking about.
Story-wise.
No, they were talking when he dropped down below. They were mentioning his immortality though. I mean, not to Michiru, but to us, the audience though. I'll pull up a scene in case we talked about that, or if not, then we'll continue either way. The wolf, he's immortal.
No, Michiru is immortal.
No. He said the
She has transformed.
She can transform, but Mr. Wolf, Shiro, he's immortal.
Oh, I didn't know.
So he's interested in that.
Oh, I didn't know he was interested in wolf bat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he fell off a building and he lived.
Yeah, because remember, he saw the recording of both.
But yeah, so then at that point, Michiru's in trouble. Shiro takes off his collar, and immediately goes through a full-on a tokusatsu transformation, and shoots off a beam and becomes the true Wolf Jesus.
The real Wolf Jesus.
Not the fake Jesus that we saw before, the phony one, but the real one. And so in that beam of light, immediately the rhino dude's arms are gone. He's like, Michiru's like, Ginro? Oh wait, no, it's Shiro. And so Shiro goes into a full-on bout against him. Dude grows like horns and stuff from where his arms used to be, rushes in, but then gets cut in like quarters. So that was really cool. But then as soon as that happened, Shiro's transformation wears off, goes back into regular wolf form, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll be all right. Don't have to worry about ambulance or anything like that. I'm gonna be fine." They take him back. The inspector takes him back. Turns into an armadillo form, takes him back, and Shiro's like, "Oh, she knows, just so you know." And then like when we cut to the next scene, like Kuro, he has this sad face to him. It's just, oh god. But yeah, so the mayor explains that, like, yeah, this is what Shiro is, and Michiru pops the question: is Shiro Ginro? It's like, yep, he is Wolf Jesus. This is the real Wolf Jesus. And she was like, wait, did you know that the other one wasn't actually Wolf Jesus? And Mayor's like, yep, we knew. We knew, and that's why we wanted to kind of keep it that way. We want to make sure that nobody really knows about that. And they have all these statues, and of course Gandhi's there. He looks fatter here. I don't know what the hell he's been eating, but yeah. So they explain pretty much the whole backstory, to kind of like what Shiro's whole deal's about. And it turns out that as the mayor and Michiru go to the rooftop, they mentioned that Ginro with wings. Oh man, it's kind of cute, It's not what really happened, but Shiro is indeed the real Ginro, and Ginro's been around for a good 1,000 years. It's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, so Shiro's really that old? It's like, yep. And it turns out that they lived in Shiro lived in a city that was basically all beastmen, just kind of like Anima City, but it was more like, again, it was more in older society, based in older society and stuff. And humans and beastmen obviously got along, but then they didn't. They slaughtered like the humans and stuff, just without warning, just decided to slaughter everybody, and it was just full-on genocide. And that genocide included including Shiro. Shiro rushes in, tries to do what he can to, kill these guys, and nope, he gets sliced in the neck. It's he gets shot with the spear and sliced in the neck, which is why he has that neck scar. And as that happened, as he's in that pit of bodies, he gets the energy of the sky and absorbs it and became Ginro-sama from that day on.
Pretty much absorbs everyone around him.
Yeah, kind of like Full Metal Alchemist style with Van Hohenheim. And he gains all their essence and becomes the real Ginro. And with that power, he slayed all 2,000 troops that basically killed him. And that's what gave him that immortal body. That's the reason why he won't die. So we finally have that whole thing explained as to kind of who Ginro is and why and how Shiro became Ginro. So that's how he became the protector of the Beastmen. But then we cut to the next scene and how the mayor got around meeting Ginro or Shiro, and it turns out that she met him when she was a prisoner of war in World War II. So that was really interesting because we find out that she's actually kind of old herself. So like Shiro was like 1,000 years old. And though we see her like in a Nazi camp and like them killing off like these beastmen and stuff, and then Shiro immediately like goes in and like slaughters all the Nazis and stuff. So yeah, she's like a straight up Shiro's like a straight up war hero. And like saving his fellow man and I guess fellow beasts I should say, protecting little Mayor, But unfortunately, because of the destruction and stuff, and how this is basically a cycle, he never took on that power again. Which of course is very noble, and it is very tragic at the same time because like he has this power, he can never die, and that's why he's just a grumpy old man, really. And Michiru was like, you know what, I don't really get it, but I'll just keep things the way they are because I don't really care. I just know him as Shiro Ogami, the old dude. The old crabby dude that protects Beastmen of Anima City, and that's how I know him as, and that's what I care to know him as. That was really powerful stuff, because there shouldn't be a reason to really have this kind of like this messiah treatment. Like Shiro, despite the fact that he's over 1,000 years old, is still a person, and so Shiro's like, if we didn't tell her the truth, she would have blabbed it. She would have blabbed it any other way. So you know what? It's probably best that we have her learn the truth and whatnot. And Mayor's like, oh, so I guess you're softening up to her. And Shiro's like, nah, she's manipulative, in a playful way, of course, not in like a serious kind of way. She's really good at manipulating me. But then the Mayor, decides to look into before that though, Michiru kind of like comes into Nazuna's room, and I thought like she was just basically gonna say, hey, you're a fake, I'm friends with the real Ginro-sama.
You're phony. We're
phony, but we don't get to see kind of like what happened there. Instead, we take a look at the autopsy of the rhino scientist, who went fully berserk and went full kaiju mode. Like at this point, he's not even a beastman; he's just kaiju. But then the mayor shows up, and then Alan also shows up, and he tells her, it's like, oh, he's actually the first beastman to get a PhD.
And she's the mayor.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I said. Or if I said so earlier, apologies. But yeah, so the mayor looks into deeper kind of like what this whole beast factor thing is, and how like the Sylvasta Pharmaceuticals are basically kind of like taking care of like researching what's going on here. So obviously, if it's not obvious enough, Alan Sylvasta looking into his profile in the beginning of the episode versus kind of like what the events led up to right now kind of means that he's kind of involved with something. So we'll just have to wait and see until episode 9 for that. But yeah, so moving on into our next episode, we have Sing Yesterday for me, and oh boy,
It wasn't that juicy though. It was
okay. It starts off juicy because we kind of lead
You mean
into
the ending?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
lead into the scenario where
But I told you nothing was gonna happen.
yeah, David was on point with that
I told
because
both of you.
sure enough, in like less than a minute into the episode, she tries to she gets the key out to open the door. You know, Rikuo is sweating and whatnot, and Shinako's like, yeah.
She's just standing there.
She's just standing there. She doesn't put the key into the hole, and she's like, you know what? Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe. And he's like, yeah. You know what? Yep. Maybe this is. You know, instead of, that's fine. I'll just. You don't have to. You seem kind of off anyway. You know what? I'm just gonna go home. You should just rest. I'm just gonna go head home. So good night. They walk off. So, I think Omar would very much be very happy with that. But then we cut to Shinako going to a bar, talking with her friend, and Riku also talking with his friend, and they were mentioning, it's like, man, you blew it. You're not gonna get that chance again. You're not.
Both missed the opportunity.
They did, and they have like a split screen shot of them saying, of the friends saying the exact same thing, that you guys messed up. You got invited into her house and you missed that opportunity hard. You're never ever gonna get that chance again. So they both know exactly kind of like what the scenario is, and it's funny because again, Shinako is known to have already rejected Rikuo before, when Rikuo confessed and everything like that, and Shinako is just saying, it's like, hey, he's like, what are you implying? The fact that I like him? It's like, yeah, I think so. You think you trust him? You trust him quite a bit. So I'm just saying, and so they drink their problems away with some good old sake, and at that moment you also see Rikuo's friend, the guy that got married, also talk in regards to the whole situation itself. But before that though, Shinako is trying to basically compare the two situations with Ro and how he embraced her from behind, and the fact that Rikuo is the way he is, lies in a bed and she's just like, what's going on, man? I feel so stupid. It's very interesting, and so that's when again cut to the Rikuo mentioning like you can't get your move, that once that's done, it's done. You see the wife comes in, and it was funny because David thought that the wife was actually the friend.
Yeah.
And now it turns out the wife was actually her, because again I think she had makeup on. But then they noticed that like, hey, my relatives really love the photos, and they're actually set up like on the they're actually framed and everything. So Rikuo is actually a pretty good photographer. But along with those photos, of course, they also processed a couple of other photos as well, and it's mainly with Shinako eating cake. And so they gave it to her, and like, yeah, man, she's pretty. It's like, man, she's too good. She's too good for him. And then, of course, like as Riku was kind of like walking back and stuff, Haru's also there. But he's also recollecting kind of like what all the incidents that happened, what were, and how, man, he felt like he kind of blew it there, but at the same time he didn't want to be rude, and it's just it hurts, but at the same time it's just like, man, because I'm Team Haru, but that situation, my man likes Shinako. And the fact that he kind of like let this opportunity slip by, it is pretty disheartening. Regardless of kind of like what your stance is, but thankfully his friend mentions like, hey, if you work your current job part time and full time, you'll gain a lot more confidence and stuff. So maybe that might be able to get rid of your uneasiness with Shinako. And as he's getting closer and closer to his house, Haru's actually right there waiting for him. just kind of like saying like, hey, brought some bagels. Got some bagels from Milk Hall, and I was wondering to see if you want some. And she tries to get herself invited into his house, similar to the Shinako situation, except kind of the opposite of that, I guess.
No, he's straight outside.
Yeah, because she straight up says like, "Hey, I want to go over to your house."
No, but I mean, he's straight outsid. That it's too late.
Yeah,
it's dangerous.
So
go
it's
home.
like not great. So you know what? Let me walk you home. And I realized that this is the first time that I think he's actually walked her back to her house. Because when Minato did it...
No, he did it when... No, did he? When he took
thought it was
her...
Minato.
No, never mind, no.
Yeah. It was Minato, and then Ro also did it once too. But, yeah. My boy Rico never did it. So as that happened, we cut to the next scene, and then we get to more montages of him like actually like learning, like taking his cameraman life really seriously and such. Just enjoying life, and in general, like his life in general is just like turning around for the better. And then Haru is also kind of like thinking on like the situation in regarding to Rikuo, and again, Shinako also, doing so on her end as well. And it's just all around, it's just life is moving on. Like we've already by episode 8, we've progressed so much from the first episode to now that things have just kind of like been moving. And so we also get to the scene where Rikuo goes to the general offices and such. I think that's when he moved to full-time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a full-time employee now, and oh my goodness, and then we see his former convenience store co-worker. I say former because Rikuo actually quit the job, and he's right there drinking coffee with his coworker, and it turns out his coworker cut his hair. And David at first didn't think that that was him until he realized, oh my god, that is him. He just cut his hair.
And then you realized it too.
I realized it too, because oh my gosh, it's so different. And then Haru is like,
I found this weird.
Oh yeah, Haru was like walking around through the corner, and then she finds Rikuo, and she's like just staring at him, and then she just like smiles and just walks back. It was really strange. You know what? It is actually strange. Like thinking about it, that was really strange because I didn't find it that strange at first, but then like seeing that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Because she went from one thing to another, and yeah, it's weird. But then we see Shinako drinking again with her buddy, and then she's just explaining away. It's like, yeah, nothing happened. We just haven't talked at all since that scene happened. And it's weird because like again, it's
just awkward for them right now.
It is awkward. Like when you go from almost inviting your crush to your room, it's like, and doesn't happen. It's like, man, it's so weird. And she pokes her cheek, and oh my god, it looks so adorable.
Don't regret it.
Don't regret it. Don't regret what you did. Whatever decision you made, that's on you. And then Haru, keeps checking back onto the convenience store to see like, what's going on.
Because they don't know.
They don't know. No, it's saddening because it's like Rikuo's not keeping these girls in touch. I mean, it's not his fault either because like it never really came up, I guess.
He was so focused.
Rikuo's moving on. But then we realize that, cut to the last episode when Rikuo was holding on to his case. I guess Rikuo kind of like wanted to talk to her about it, but he didn't have the confidence to really mention about what was going on. So that was... Shinako felt really guilty about that because she was like, man, shoot, I made things awkward. And indeed, when she goes up to Rikuo's house to talk with him, because she was waiting on when he'd come back.
She
she's
thought
like,
she thought he was at home.
yeah, but his lights were off, so she was like, man, I'll stay here a little bit. And
No, I think she was just gonna go home after that.
oh,
but then-
you know what? Yeah, she probably just legit actually just stopped by.
yeah.
But then that's when Rikuo showed up, and she was like, yeah, I was in the neighborhood, and I just wanted to see if you were here. And that's when Rikuo shows up, and they had this cute banter between each other, saying like, it's like trying to give each other like explanations, kind of like what was going on. They're like like at the same time, and it's just adorable banter all around. How did it end off? I don't remember. There was right. They were talking about like Shinako was like ending off, like trying to mention like how you quit the convenience store job, and Rikuo apologized like, no, it's okay, like you're trying to focus on your part time as a studio job, and he's like, nope, I'm a full timer, baby. No more part time for this guy. So it was nice. Shinako was just genuinely really happy the fact that it's like, yeah, I had no confidence when they offered me for the full time, but my coworkers were like, yeah, you'll get the hang of it. So he's like, you know what, I'm taking like more responsibilities and stuff, so I kind of like tinkering with cameras. And he has this genuine face of like just genuine honest like feeling right there when he's talking about that. And Shinako caught that. It's just like those little moment to moment like interactions when they catch stuff like that. It's just, there's a lot of detail put into that. So that's when she was like, I'm glad. And she points at him, and it was just so, it caught my heart, man. Like, I'm still a Haru fan, but like stuff like this was kind of like puts my faith to question. It's just all around like these past couple episodes between Shinako and Rikuo just feel so genuine and just feel so honest that I don't know how to put it to words. But anyway, so then we immediately cut to Shinako like in front of Shinako's apartment, because I guess Rikuo was like walking her back, and they just casually said bye to each other, and Rikuo realized, shoot, this like my buddy was right. This is, I won't get a second chance like this. So, man, it kind of sucks when you see that in hindsight, that like, man, they were right. This is legit what they said. And so Shinako was like, thinking about when Haru was mentioning how she was declaring war against her in the way that like, I don't want to be sneaky about it. I like Uzumi-kun, I like Rikuo, and I'm gonna be her rival. So it kind of makes Shinako think about kind of what's going on. Kind of thinking like what Rikuo thinks of Haru. So then we cut to Shinako just kind of like cleaning the rooms and stuff, and she's thinking like, man, I haven't been to Ro's house in a while. So I should probably go there and maybe like do some cooking and stuff maybe. And then with that same, and then so she does actually eventually go, and then she cooks and such. But then we get pretty much a similar scene with Rikuo bumping into Shinako, but instead of Shinako, of course, it's Haru. And of course, Haru's crow is right there in the bag, sitting there adorably as usual. And they eventually do bump into Rikuo. They have pretty much like one for one. It's pretty much like the same conversation.
it was a bump into it. She was literally waiting for him.
I say that like in air quotes, but you're right though. She was literally waiting for him. Like it's so crazy though, because like this interaction in a lot of ways it's similar to how Rikuo broke to Shinako about the news in regards to him quitting his convenience store job. But it's different at the same time because Haru and Shinako, personality-wise, are very different from each other. So, because Haru is way more straightforward and headstrong about kind of like what she wants to convey, what feelings she wants to convey, and everything like that. So she straight up confronts Rikuo regarding the convenience store job and how like, oh, so you did quit your job, right? And she's like, yeah. Like, why were you hiding that from me? And Rikuo's like, I wasn't trying to hide it from you at all. Like, it just never came up. And so Haru's kind of bummed out because she can't really go to that convenience store anymore to really check him out. And with this new photography job, it's a lot more restrictive to kind of like get him to get her to see him. And she was like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry for not telling you, and I'm sorry for that. And she was like, hey, you could always come over to my work and talk, or if you want to make a delivery and stuff, you could be able to do that. And then Rikuo mentions that he's gonna be working late, and he's gonna, it's not safe to be out so late. So she was like, I can wait. It's fine. I'm a headstrong girl. I can do. It's fun waiting for you. And oh man, she mentions how the convenience store isn't it's not as, pun aside, convenient to wait for you with your new job. So it's gonna get kind of gloomy and everything. And I feel like Rikuo kind of realizes this too, and Haru kind of like does this cute salute, and you don't see her eyes. You know that this might be a little bit before Rikuo sees Haru again, and Rikuo feels it. That's the thing, my boy feels it. But yeah, then we cut to Ro's place, and Shinako makes extra portions of food, and Ro comes in.
I think that was it.
Yeah, Ro comes into the house basically, and then Shinako said, "Welcome home." So I guess it was kind of like, and it ends right there. I guess it kind of deliberately makes it feel like, oh, she's kind of like what's the word? Adjusted into like the housewife scenario. So.
Well, I think she's gonna try to, think about his feelings.
Make amends, yeah.
Not as in like relationship wise, but like as
a person,
a
and not see.
That's where I'm getting it from her so far.
Yeah, not see him as kind of like, oh, you're just your brother, kind of thing. But yeah.
And she's probably gonna end up saying, "Oh, yeah, you have feelings for me," but for me, I think, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. Story changes.
Yeah. It very much so does. But yeah, now we move on to our last episode of this week. Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2. And oh my god, this one's still like a banger of an episode. So the first part, we start off with Miko basically assessing kind of what happened in the last episode, with how she walked into all these situations, and in all of them, we already established that Miko's the new financial auditor and why she's here, but she's not exactly used to the happenings and the inner workings of kind of like what goes on in the council. So in those 3 instances where she came in and walked into them at the wrong time, she basically deduced that Ishigami is a good for nothing, and that Kaguya and Shirogane have explicit relationships with each other in the presence of the council room, and that Chika is the only reliable person that actually does stuff in the council room. And then Ishigami's like, oh yeah, but Fujiwara broke rules too. But it's like, oh, Fujiwara's an artist, she's different. So then the gang comes up with the fact that, so before that, Kaguya's like brings up Ino, and she's like, hey, so Miko's like, oh, do better, and then Kaguya brings Miko in, and it's like, hey, you're a newcomer, so you might not understand what's going on, but President, he cares about what's going on, he sets a good example. And so what immediately comes into Miko's head is that, oh, you guys go into this kind of stuff, so I don't think that's kind of what's going on. I don't care how much you guys like each other, there's an appropriate time and place for that kind of stuff. That hits Kaguya right there, because like Miko's the only person that puts that together. They're like, oh, you guys like each other. But Kaguya's like, oh my god, maybe she's okay, maybe I could kind of like have her under my wing and stuff. And then, oh my god, Ishigami, she's like, hey, you're gonna make enemies that way. I get you're like a stickler for rules and stuff, But cracking down people, that they have feelings too. And Miko's like, I don't care. I don't want to hear it from you, man. Boy, Ichigami. Chika says the same thing. And Miko's immediately like, oh my god, Chika, Fujiwara senpai, you're right. I'm so sorry. Chika's like, I'm saying the same thing. Sometimes strict, sometimes soft. And so Chika's like, yeah, you know what? I have an idea. Let's practice being nice and not get angry on like other people. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and break the rules for like the next hour. And so the rules is that Miko basically has to make sure that she doesn't get mad at anybody for an hour for breaking rules. And Ishigami's like, man, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. Cut to him. I feel free to do as I please. It's no different than usual. Puts his feet on the table. Keeps playing his games. Brings out the chips and the sody pop. And immediately have like 3 shots of him like, boop, open the chips, open the soda bottle, and just cracking a chip in his mouth.
He's enjoying himself.
He's just enjoying life in general. And then 3, 2, 1, go, playing a video game. Oh man, I have an idea. Let me dock my Switch into the TV so I can play some Marine Kart. and then Shirogane comes up and is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come in too. I'm gonna have some fun too. And Chika's also mentioning how like, oh, so usually, phone usage and stuff, like phone calls and like other stuff, that's okay. But Twitter and games, oh, that's not cool. But I'm gonna take some Instagram pictures. And she has like all these like fun filters on and stuff like that. And like, Miko's like, I've never done that before. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. So then they take like, and then she takes like Chika takes a picture of Miko with like this like dog filter and this cat filter, bunny filter, all these other filters, and Miko's just like super shy and like all that stuff, and she gets Kaguya in it too. She's like, oh, come on, don't you want to be cute? And that immediately gets to her. It's like, oh my god. So they take selfies and stuff with like the mustache filter. It's like, okay, time to make weird faces. And then Kaguya takes one too, and then Chika mentions how cute it is. And so she's like, oh, is it really that cute? So she does it to Shirogane and Ishigami, and Ishigami's immediately like, dude, that's gross. That's gross. And then Shirogane's like, what? What kind of person would want to be called gross? I was like, I thought that was what she was going for. And so she busts out her old phone and tries to take a picture of them making a quote unquote weird face, or sorry, cute face. So yeah, that was the end of that. Kaguya gets that photo and she's super duper happy about it. And then we cut to the next scenario, and immediately you see Kaguya and Shirogane in this compromised pose of them trying to kiss each other. And why is that? Well, it turns out that they inspect the PE storage room, and it turns out that the PE storage room completely locked out. We get an explanation from the narrator talking about how boy and girl scenario, like of them being together and stuff, kind of leads into these weird situations and stuff. And the funny thing, the twist about this is the fact that Shirogane thinks that it was Kaguya that locked themselves in the first place, like on purpose, and Kaguya thinks that Shirogane is the one that did it in the first place as well. So they're basically all hamming it up, in the acting department, trying to call for help and stuff. But they think, oh, Kaguya is the one that put me in this situation. Oh, Shirogane is the one that put me in this situation. Like, President put me in this situation. Oh boy. 3 hours go by, and then they immediately think, okay. So I wonder if he's gonna put this move on me. And Shirogane's like, I wonder if she's gonna pull this move on me. And they realize, oh shoot, this is taking a little bit longer than I thought. And so Kaguya trips, and Shirogane trips as well. And that's when we get to that position. And so much tension happens. Like, Shirogane is on top of Kaguya. Kaguya's like, maybe I should just close my eyes for this. And, we zoom into Kaguya's lips, and, it looks like we're about to get to that scene. And then immediately Miko opens the storage room and sees them in this position. Kaguya runs to Miko, like, thank you so much. I was so scared. And, oh my god, the misunderstandings galore. She's like, scumbag! And Shirogane's like, oh my god! It wasn't the reason at all. And of course, it turns out the reason why the door is locked was because of a tree branch that got stuck in the door. And Shirogane just wants to die. Third scenario. We get to Kaguya having a piece of string on her hair. She doesn't notice it, of course. Shirogane notices it. And so she goes in and takes the string off, and he's like, oh, I found it. And he's like, oh, silly for me not noticing it. And she realizes her chest hurts, she collapses, and they call an amber lamps. And the doctor that came was actually Kaguya's family's family doctor, who happens to be the top 10 doctors in the world. So he does tests and such, and then he realizes that it's nothing, no reason to panic. You don't have any heart problems. You are lovesick. And she was like, what do you mean? Is that the name of some love disease? Is some heart disease? He's like, nope. That's the emotion you feel when you're like a guy. And she's like, I'm not joking. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no way that could happen. And she explains it, and you see Hayasaka like covering her face because she's embarrassed sick with what the hell's going on. They do tests. They do full on like super expensive tests to get this whole thing situated of why she's doing it. And Hayasaka is like super duper embarrassed at this whole thing because Kaguya she's not accepting this at all. So she shows him. So she shows the doctor her phone. Like, is this the guy that you like? Like, no, I don't like this guy. He's like, he seems to be interesting. And it's just all these like silly faces that she made him do. It's like, why don't you date this fellow? It's like, I just think the president's an ideal human being, and as she's talking about him, her blood pressure and her heart rate keeps going up and up and up, and it's like it's beating, and she's like, stop using the latest technology to figure out Kaguya's true feelings. Poor Hayasaka, she's just like, she's not wanting anything to do with it. And then like the doctor explains like, oh, this is what happened when I was younger, and I realized that this happened, and like she cuts to when he was in high school, and I know how you feel. Oh my god, back then I fell in love too, and like I haven't outgrown that. It's just, oh my gosh, it's this whole thing is brilliant. And then Kaguya explains like, oh, the doctor's a quack. We're going to go to another hospital for a second opinion. Hayasaka's like, no, stop humiliating me. I don't want this to happen. And Kaguya's like, oh, I'm fine. It's like, and Shirogane is like legit, like, concerned. Is like, are you okay? Is there any other problem? Did you make a complete recovery? What caused it? And the is like, this is the reason why. No, this is the reason why it's happening. It is your fault, but Kaguya can't tell them that. It's just, oh my gosh. And then the doctor's like, yeah, no, don't worry, sir, your daughter's doing fine. But yeah, that concludes this week's season of anime. We have a little bit of time left, so we're gonna be talking about The Great Pretender a little bit. And the reason why is that the anime just actually dropped its opening on us, and the opening is interesting because it's actually it's Freddie Mercury's The Great Pretender, which I never thought would be made like with the anime in mind, with the opening. So that was interesting. Like, I always thought that would be a great song to make an opening out of, but like really, that's awesome. Like,
when I saw the news, I was pretty dumbfounded.
Yeah, right.
I never pictured a Queen song in a anime opening.
Yeah, like this feels like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure all over again, but it's not.
So far, well, what we saw, and plus more now with this opening makes me wanna see it already. And we have actual date when it.
We do, yes. We have an actual date. We have so this is gonna be appearing on Japanese Netflix. We're gonna have episode 1 through 5 on June 2nd, episode 6 through 10 on June 9th, 11 through 14 on June 16th, and the rest of the episodes are gonna be coming soon.
So whenever I guess it's out for us, we'll probably watch it.
Yeah, we'll watch it, and we'll more than likely put a review on this similar to this. And our last piece of info that we want to mention before closing this off is Helltaker. So this game is a game that me and David have been playing. David's gone pretty far into the game. I'm only on the 7th stage of the game, and it is just great. It's a free game first off, and you play as the I'd say like a burly Yakuza member, right? And he wants to have a harem full of demon girls. So he opens a portal to hell, and he goes into hell to basically take out these stages and romance these girls and make his harem. And it's great.
It's pretty funny. I like the conversations, and if you miss I guess you picked the wrong conversation, it just ends the game.
It ends the game, and you have to do that stage all over again, which good luck in memorizing that correct pattern, because oh boy, this game is hard. Like I'm still like, the reason why I'm only in stage 7 is because it's legit really hard. You have to figure out like the game itself reminds me a lot of like those old Flash games. Because all it is just, you're basically just going, like, it's just the direction buttons. It's just up, left, down, right. And you're just trying to go through these stages and, like, getting to the girl in, like, with enough turns. And it's just really fun. Like, the girls are really cute. The art style is also really great. And it's so simple to play. Like, anybody could just, like, pick it up and play. And you pretty much only need a potato to run the game, and it's free. It's so good, and all you have to do is.
The funny part, if you fail on doing the puzzle, you get shocked to death.
Yeah.
And you gotta redo it again.
And death actually, it's hard, but like it's that type of hard where like if you lose, it just starts you right on the beginning of that stage. And these stages are really short. Like if you know what to do, you're pretty much able to beat the game in a matter of like a half hour, pretty much. Like it is really short and simple, but it's hard. It is just hard. So all around, it's great, fantastic game all around. I have nothing else to say. Like I'm excited to continue it. Oh, and also the cool thing about the game is that like if you fork off $10, because again, the game is free, but if you happen to have $10 that's burning a hole through your pocket and you want to give it to Helltaker, you can, and you get an art book and pancake recipe out of it, which is hilarious. Like not the art book part, but pancake recipe. That's interesting. So now I can finally make pancakes without needing Bisquick. That's awesome. But yeah, I guess, yeah. So with that being said, we're finally able to wrap things up. This has been the Anime Squad podcast. My name is Raby.
And this is David.
Yeah, and don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. See you guys.
Laters.